Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you've watched my first video, as it's called, you will know that I have just done my first couple of days of sixth form. So I thought I'd make this video to kind of show how I thought it went, my first impressions of it, to kind of help, say if you're deciding whether you want to go to sixth form or not, or you're nervous as to how it's going to play out, or you just want to see if people have had the same experiences as you. Then I'm just going to share what I think about the first couple of days of sixth form so far. So I know I've technically finished my first week, but really I've only had 2 days in school because I went back on the Thursday. So I haven't fully gotten into the swing of things. Like, I haven't had an English lit lesson or a further maths lesson yet. But I've kind of got the general gist of how sixth form is going to play out for me. And right now I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so first I'm just going to talk a bit about how my sixth form works, because I know everyone's sixth form is going to be different. Obviously it depends on what school you go to, whether you've been to that school previously, you know, a bunch of different things determine how the sixth form works. So for me, I am staying on at the same secondary school that I've been to for the past 5 years. So it's quite nice because I've known kind of what to expect, but it's a lot different when you're there in person doing sixth form properly instead of just like seeing it on the sidelines. So for me, I personally have chosen 4 A-levels. That is not compulsory. I think the majority of our year has chosen 3 A-levels and then what we call a pathway, which is like an extracurricular kind of activity or something like that. But I chose to do 4, so I'm doing maths, further maths, art and English literature. That was not the original plan. No, I didn't think I was going to do further maths, but then the day after we gave in our choices, like our final choices, I was like, do you know what? I think I'm gonna go for it. So that was, yeah, it was a bit of a last minute rush. Well, I don't want to say rush because my teachers were really accommodating towards that. They were really supportive. It was really painless. So I just emailed my teacher saying, hey, is it possible for me to do a 4? She was like, yeah, I'll put you on the list. I was like, okay, that's great. That's brilliant. So yeah, I'm doing 4 A-levels, and for each subject, this goes for everyone, we do 4 lessons a week. I don't know whether that's the same across all schools. It's probably about that, because there is obviously a lot of content, so you need a lot of lessons in a week, but then you can't have too many because otherwise it'll be too overwhelming. So yeah, we have 4 lessons a week, so that means I've got 16 lessons in my school week. So now, only with 16 lessons, I have 9 frees, or for like free periods where the school encourages us to study or do some extra reading or maybe some extracurricular stuff, which we haven't gotten into, but we will in a couple of weeks. So I know some sixth forms allow the sixth formers to leave when they don't, say if you only had like 2 lessons in the morning and none in the afternoon, you're allowed to go home. But for us personally, we have to stay in school for the whole day. That might seem like a bit of, you know, a disadvantage, but for me I find it really useful because we have a huge library in our school and loads of like study areas, and we can just go and do our own thing. Like, we can go and talk to the teachers, but it's more of an independent study, but then the teachers are there available if we need them. So yeah, I think that even if you are allowed home, then you will come to appreciate the free time that you have, because it is valuable, and I've learned that even in the first couple of days. It's really, really valuable. So day 1, I think you can all kind of imagine what day 1 would be, and it's probably all similar stuff. So we started off with like a little presentation. So the whole year group went into the assembly hall, and we just got a short presentation on just, you know, like welcome back, here's how the day is going to plan out, that, you know, just general welcome stuff. So after the presentation, we went to our tutor groups, where the tutors just gave out our timetables and did general admin. It was nice because we didn't know what our week would look like, or especially that day, we didn't know what it would look like before we went in. So it was nice to get the timetable to kind of figure out, okay, this is how my day's going to look, this is how my week's going to look, and like compare like lessons with friends, see who's got a free when. And so I've already found like 5 or 6 free lessons where me and one of my friends are together, so we can go to the library and study together, which will be useful, especially as we're doing one same subject. Overall, I feel like it was quite a nice chilled out morning. In the tutor groups again, we'd obviously been together on induction day, but it was just nice to spend some more time with our tutor groups. And we just had a bit of a chat really. I think the chilled out morning really helped just calm my nerves a bit, so that was really nice. So my first lesson of sixth form was art, and again at the beginning of the lesson it was just the teachers talking to us, showing us how the lesson and the year was going to pan out, and then we did a baseline test, which has when I've been talking to my friends, quite a few people have been doing different baseline tests in different subjects, which is understandable because only half of our year roughly is old students and the rest is like external students, so the teachers kind of need to get a gist of where everyone's at. Of course they have our grades, but especially for art that doesn't really say much. They need to know our strengths, our weaknesses, what we feel comfortable with, stuff like that, and how good we are with deadlines. Which proved with that lesson because we got a deadline for the next day. And it was a good thing that I had 2 free lessons after art, so I only had 1 lesson that day because I used those lessons to do part of the homework that I got set for art, and then I spent the rest of the evening on it. So although that sounds like I was just thrown into work straight away, I actually quite enjoyed it because that is a subject that I am very passionate about. That doesn't mean to say that all of the students got homework straight away. There was like 2 distinct types of people. There was one like me who got work straight away, and there was one that after 2 days still didn't have much to do. And I think that just depends on whether they've had loads of different subjects in a couple of days, or they've had say 1 or 2 subjects but they've been more spread out. So even if they did have work, they could do it in the freeze. So on the Friday I had art again in the morning, so we carried on with our baseline test because it's more like a baseline project. Still really enjoying it. It's just nice to get back into the swing of things. Working towards a deadline is a lot easier than, obviously I've been doing artwork in the holidays, but it's just been for fun, and then I never really finished a lot of stuff. It was just kind of, I'd start this and then the next day I'd start another thing, and it just carry on going like that. So also on Friday we had a maths lesson, and that was about, I think it was period 3, period 4, so in the middle of the day. And again it started off with more admin stuff, so they gave us we went to the library to rent out textbooks, and it was really nice because they're ours for the whole year. We don't have to keep renewing them every 4 weeks, which is good because I forget always. But other than that, we got given, or they could give us folders, but I brought my own and I prefer to use my own one, and dividers and a few sheets. So we got one for just showing us how the year is going to look, like how our lessons are planned out, which I thought was really useful because say today I can look at that sheet and go, okay, so next lesson I'll be working on this, and just read ahead in the textbook. Won't really make much sense to me because I've already had a look and it's a bit tricky, but if I have a proper read of it I might understand it more. But yeah, I think maths, firstly I was slightly overwhelmed because what we got taught was not something that we'd learned in GCSE. At first I thought that maybe we might go over old GCSE stuff, but this one, I think it was about Pascal's triangle and binomial expansion, that's the word. It does sound difficult, but then once you understand it, and our teacher was really helpful because they know that this is quite a big jump, so they were really thorough in how to explain it, and they were explaining it from lots of different points of views, and they really appreciated people asking questions because obviously that means that they know that we're understanding what they're saying, so that was really nice. But yeah, once you understand it and you get the grip of what they're saying, it's actually really interesting. Again, I've always been quite interested in maths. I've quite liked the thought process of it. So once I learned how to do it, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm quite enjoying this now. But then obviously when you first get presented with this brand new thing, you're like, wow. But then at the end of the day, it's not brand new. It is kind of, so you get the quadratics at GCSE, A-level is just that with a bit extra, and that with a bit more explanation to it. What also helped is that I had a free lesson straight after my maths lesson, and one of my friends was struggling a bit with the concept, so we sat down and went through it. So that's something I really encourage you to do, because working with friends and explaining it, say if you get a concept and someone else doesn't, then you teaching them is just going to make sure that you fully understand it, because there's no point just reciting the process. If you can't explain it to someone, then you don't actually know it. So that's really nice to like recap the lesson that you've just done, but also help someone else who maybe was struggling a little bit. So homework wise, I didn't really know what to expect when going into sixth form, because I know that obviously sixth form and A-levels in general are a lot of work. I didn't know how much homework they would give us on the first couple of days, and for me personally it's not a lot. I've just got one piece for art to do over the weekend, and by one piece I mean just an A4 that I've already half done in lessons. So yeah, that's nothing major. I know some people have a little bit more than me and some people don't have much at all, but generally speaking I don't think there is a lot of homework going around, just because the teachers are more focused on making sure that we are fully aware of what we're doing, like how the year's going to plan out, and they're just helping us settle in. Again, that's only me having 2 days of sixth form, so if you've had a whole week, maybe you've probably got more, I'm not sure. So overall, I'm really happy so far. I've come home each day feeling a lot more energized than I did in year 11, and I know it's only the first couple of days, so I will get more tired, because obviously at the end of year 11 I had done a whole school year. But I feel like the free lessons are something that just helps you recharge whilst also still working. But when I've been talking to my friends, everyone seems really excited about the new courses that they're doing, which is really cool, because obviously you've chosen a select few that you feel most passionate about, hopefully. I think it's just nicer because you're more, I don't know, you're more enthusiastic because you have chosen those specific ones. There's nothing like, oh, I need to go do this subject like at GCSE, because you are in complete control of your choices, to an extent anyway. Also, I found that you do get a lot more respect from the teachers, obviously because you're older, you're more mature, and you've chosen to do their subject that they are very passionate about. So I think they're quite appreciative when you come and join their class. So they do give you a lot more respect. Obviously that doesn't mean they don't respect you in younger years, but yeah, I think you can have more of a one-on-one conversation with them now. So yeah, that was my first impressions of sixth form. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a bit rambly, but I hope that even if you haven't done the same subjects as me, you've kind of got a grasp of how sixth form has been for me, and maybe it might be for you if you are in the year below, or if your experience is different to mine, then please let me know in the comments. I want to find out how people's experiences differ across the sixth forms. So yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of me. Okay, I'll see you all later. Bye!